Hello, thank you for joining this Scoundrels. My name is Dave. With me is my fellow Scoundrels, Rich.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We also got Vic. We also got Victor hanging
Yep.
out with us. And we also have Jared. How you doing, fellas?
How you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Yep.
All right. This is the first episode of the Scoundrels. Thank you for clicking, guys. Viewing us for a little bit here, and leave your comments down below. What are we going to talk about? Well, it's the number one show that's been on for the past 2 months, I think. And that show is Wandavision.
Oh,
All right, so Wandavision already had its season finale. We're going to talk about the whole series in general, fellas. But before we actually start talking about it, let's see if we can try to go back to where we heard this series was going to happen. You know, it's a week before the premiere. Jared, I'll go straight to you. Did you have any expectations on what you were about to really see from this show? What is it that you expected?
I didn't really know what I was getting into. I mean, it was clearly going through like the different eras of that television, but
Mhm.
I had like heard some things that had like kind of like a Twin Peaks vibe sometimes, and then yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really do like a lot of research on it either, but
Mhm.
I mean, I think they like definitely pull it off though. It was like super cool.
Vic, I'm going to go straight to you. So my question is did you have any, care about Vision and Wanda before this even started? Did you say, "Oh, I like these characters. These are good characters. I want to watch the show." Did you have any of those thoughts, or are you just like, you know what? Let me just see what's happens here.
I think because it was like like the way it was promoted with like Jared said with like the different eras kind of with the trailer, I
Mm-hmm.
had interest for that. I didn't necessarily think that anything in the show was going to be real because, it looks so fake. Like it was different eras and stuff. Like it seemed like a what if thing. So I was more interested in the concept rather than the actual characters. And I was like, okay, if they're doing this, and then I believe they revealed not too long after the Loki stuff too, like with the emblems and stuff like that. Not the emblems, the logos. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I guess Marvel is going to be doing like this TV show kind of thing, and they're going to be trying it out the way Mandalorian does it. So, like I
Okay.
said, it was more the concepts that were more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Rich, I'm gonna go to you. I know me and you kind of felt the same way. We talked a while before this show started. Even uh, we we really didn't have too much on Vision and Wanda. We are like, oh, okay. Me and you kind of thought they were just side characters, so we really didn't know where we're coming into this show. Uh, did you expect? Is this anything that you expected at all, or were you expecting less from this show?
Well, the reason I mainly got into it, I heard, obviously Jared and Dave talk about it a lot, and Billy and Vic were into it too. But I even messaged Jared when I first started on the first episode. I was like, I'm 10 minutes in. Give me a reason not to turn it off right now.
Yeah.
Because it
Same.
just wasn't grabbing me in the very first episode. But I mean, it wasn't even the full episode. But like the first 10 minutes, it just wasn't grabbing me. I didn't understand. Not only was I already not into Scarlet Witch or Vision, like I wasn't into them at all. Even in the Avenger movies and everything, I just never got into them. And then I messaged Jared. I was like, okay, I like the little eerie parts, like the scene where they invite the Vision's coworker, his boss, and his wife over for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and the husband starts choking, and you can see the lady from that '70s show saying, stop it," and she's just like breaking character, and she's got her eyes are welching up with tears, and I love that kind of stuff. Like that's when I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let
It's
me
kind
just
of
keep
like
going with this.
It kind of had some like Get Out vibes. It was like,
Yeah.
no. Like it
Yeah,
was like the
yeah.
same type of
Yeah.
thing.
It was
Yeah.
very, very eerie. And then as I kept watching, I started getting into it, and then it finally got into color. And then they showed, when the twins were born, and even just the eerie parts with his neighbors where they were just breaking character, like whenever Vision was talking to his neighbor and he was just sawing through the brick, and he's like, oh, I think you went a little too far there, and he's just like, yeah, I know, and he just keeps cutting because
That's what I do.
Wanda just started losing, I guess, kind of control. Like she can't control everything. You saw the white space that she controlled, the people of that town, and yeah, like after a while it caught me, but I definitely wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Okay. And you know what? Just to reiterate on what you said about those first two episodes, I remember watching those first two episodes when it premiered because they premiered together, and I was like, okay, how you're saying about how it was eerie.
Yeah.
I definitely dig that with the voice coming out of the speaker, with the helicopter was the only thing that was in color. And then the sewer guy that came out from
Yeah.
Sword. Yeah, that was pretty like it kind of got me. And what got me was actually the first two episodes, I have to admit, were cute. They were cute. As far as like a sitcom, old sitcom, black and white sitcom, it was cute to me.
Yeah.
And then we get into the color to the 60s, I believe. I could be wrong. And then Wanda got pregnant, whatever. And I have to tell you guys, when that happened, it kind of lost me. I did not like the sitcom stuff at all after the first two episodes. It got very old. It was not funny to me. I know a lot of people have different reactions to what I'm having. And I know people said, oh, they love the nostalgia of it. Okay, I understand that. It just didn't hit for me, fellas. It really didn't. It actually pulled me out of the series quite a few times. I went up and when it was still on and went to put a hot pocket in the microwave. While it was still running, it just did not really inform me. The only things I knew I just had to see was at the end because that's when they would give you a little taste of what's to come next. But that was about it. I'm not saying every episode was like that, but after that, the first two episodes, the sitcom stuff itself, I was done with it. So my other question is the sitcom part of it. I'm gonna go back to Jarrett. We'll start with you. Did you like just the sitcom part of it? Did you enjoy that? What's your thoughts on the actual sitcom itself?
I actually liked it because from like the production side, how perfectly they pulled it all off. Like every single era was just like perfectly executed. Whether you think it's funny or not. I mean, it's kind of corny, but I mean, I think like those old shows, you go back and watch them. I mean, they're not like gut busters or anything. But and then you go to like Malcolm in the Middle, that was perfect too. So, but then like the Modern Family one, I didn't really like that one really because like I'm not really big on like Modern Family, but I thought they were all just perfectly well done. But I can see how people could think it kind of got old. It didn't get old for me though. I kind of liked it.
Vic, how about you, my man?
So I didn't like the first 4 episodes, I think. No, it was the first 3. The fourth one was the one where they do the Monica Rambeau, everybody came back thing. So the first 3, I didn't like them because of the sitcom thing. I thought the laugh track was like ill-placed in different weird spots. They weren't at the spots where it was like happy moments. But in hindsight, what we see, especially after the episode, I'm going to call it the therapist episode, where Agatha is kind of doing the Ghost of Christmas Past thing with Wanda. So in hindsight, we see that Wanda is covering up her dark moments with this facade of like laughter and stuff like that. So that's why those laugh tracks are placed in those weird, hey, what's going on, Wanda? Vision will be like, what is this? And you'll hear like a laugh track. It's because she's trying to keep cool. She's trying to stay calm. So in hindsight, all of it is like really cool. And what Richard was saying about like, it being eerie, like with the lady from the 70s show and stuff like that, all that stuff is like this is what cosmic horror is. This is what Lovecraft Country should have been. This omnipotent being taking mind control to the next level, and all these people without a will of their own, you know, being encased in shells, trying to escape from something that they can't, you know, from this woman who actually by the end of it may not even be in control herself. So the sitcom thing, like I said, it plays a different role now after everything is said and done. It's actually really cool. But that's what cosmic horror does. It highlights this like bubble. It's like layers and layers and layers. So like the bubble of encapsulation of like this omnipotent being is small at first because they give it to you in like this small drip dose, and then by the end of it you see that the bubble encapsulates the entire world. So like I said, like it didn't work at first, but once you see the big picture at the end, it's actually really cool. So
Right, and I see what you're saying, and trust me, I'm not trying to diss it because I love that Disney tried something new.
yeah.
Trust me, I'm always good for something new, something a different perspective on how to make a show, a film, and this was unique. Trust me, it just that the sitcom part of it did not really hit with me.
Yeah.
I'll go to you, Rich. What did you think about just the sitcom part of it?
Well, I'm not gonna go into like grave detail like these guys did because I liked it. In the very beginning, I didn't like it the first two episodes, but like Jared was saying, it did start getting. I started liking it more and more. The different episodes that came along, like the Malcolm in the Middle thing,
That
and
one
then
was so good.
the Modern Family. I started liking it. I honestly, I even told you this at work, Dave, that I actually liked it once it went into color. Like the first
Mm-hmm.
two black and whites, it took me a while. I love the eerie stuff that was going on, but once it got
Yeah.
into color, and then she started like mimicking classic sitcoms and classic shows. That's when I started really liking it.
And that's crazy because it's kind of like I feel like I'm on differences about because I like the first two episodes as far as the sitcom part, and I think the reason why I liked it is I don't remember Vision and Wanda really having character chemistry. They never really built on that from the Ultron and Civil War. They really kind of didn't build that relationship yet. And so when I saw the first two episodes, I kind of digged it more. I kind of digged it better than when it started going to color because it was just them two. It was no kids. It was just them trying to build the characters up together. So I think that's why I kind of like the first two ones too. But anyways, then we get to episode 4. Let me just quickly get into episode 4. I loved how they got you that story in on how Sword came in and Monica Rambeau came in. Of course, I love this lady. Kat Dennings comes to play, I loved it. Did you guys like, I'm pretty sure you guys liked episode 4. Did everybody like episode 4?
Yeah.
You like, yeah. I'll go right to you, Vic. Did you like how they kind of smoothed that in, the little quick backstory on, what the real world was doing at that time?
Oh man, that's got to be like one of the like coolest openings given the 10-year. I mean, it was very like and Jared, I mean, The Leftovers had like an opening like that too, with like everyone disappearing, like that's like when everything happened. This is like kind of like the inverse of that. This is everybody coming back.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see, just them actually doing something like that, filming everybody coming back. And their panic, it would be panicky like that. It would be scary.
So let me just go straight into episode 5. This is where we get the quote unquote big cameo. We all know who the cameo is that they gave us at the end of that episode. We got, what's his name? Evan Peters. Is it Evan Peters or Peter Evans? I get them mixed up. He's got 2 first names. I don't know. So we get this big cameo. We'll show the clip right now.
Long lost bro, get to squeeze his stinking sister to death or what?
I want to go straight to you, Jared. When you saw this, what was going through your head when you
Like-
saw this cameo?
I was like, that is not Aaron Taylor Johnson. And then I was like, that looks like I know this face. And because I'm not a big X-Men movie guy, but
Okay.
I know who he is. It took me like 10 seconds, but I was like, oh God, they just pulled him from Sony or whatever. So I was like on like Twitter immediately and just like reading like all the replies and stuff. And I was pretty like mind blown, but I don't know if it is the Sony, like it's kind of like maybe just like a little nugget of like fun or something. But
Yeah.
I was definitely shocked by it though.
Rich, what was going through your mind? Did you say, "Oh my God, is this?" A lot of people probably were thinking, "Are they bringing the X-Men into MCU already?" Did that go through your mind yet, Rich, when you saw this cameo?
You know, I'm not even gonna lie. This is before I got into the show and I started watching it. I did the mistake with going on Twitter, and Twitter showed me who it was already. But this is before I even got into the show. I didn't think I was even gonna watch WandaVision, but I knew who it was. But then, like Jared was saying, I think me and him even messaged text about this. It started getting me thinking, were they gonna mix the two, X-Men universe mixed with the Marvel, because that's a completely different Quicksilver from Age of Ultron. So I definitely started thinking, what are they trying to do here? Does this even mean anything? Because even Wanda was confused, like how are you even here? Because she's the one that controls everything. She's the one that controls everything in her little town. So it was definitely shocking, seeing that Evan Peters, I think that is his name, as Quicksilver.
So like after that aired for like a full week, that was literally what everyone was trying to figure out. Like there's so many YouTube videos breaking down like, how is this happening? Is this the guy from X-Men? So that was just like a nonstop discussion until like the next episode aired, pretty much.
Vic, what ran through your mind when you saw this cameo?
I literally was just like, that's Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. That's nuts. That's so nuts. And I love the delivery of his line and everything. So that was actually really cool.
Yeah, you know what? When I first saw this, it went straight through my mind. The whole theory of the MCU and the X-Men theory. But then only for a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, there's no way. It's way too soon to introduce that in the middle of the series. That's something they would introduce at the very end, end credit, post credit type deal. So after when I thought about it, I'm like, nah, they're just jerking us around for a little bit. They're giving us a little bit of a ride. And I think that's what happened. And it was all in good fun. It was all in good fun though, that they did do that. They got you on your toes a little bit. They wanted people to keep thinking. And I love that. Mm-hmm.
I think also like everyone's mind is on like multiverse, because all like the Spider-Man news come out.
Yes.
And then like the next like Doctor Strange is like multiverse. So that's kind of like where my mind went immediately, was like multiverse stuff.
So
you're not kidding. Everybody's mind was all about the multiverse, and then how they kept saying, and it looks like it is. It coincides with Doctor Strange too, with Wanda, that she's part of that movie. So that's in the back of your mind, because he deals with so many multiverse, and so that's what exactly went through a lot of people's mind, and they just took us for a ride on that.
Yeah.
So that was a good cameo. Not bad. I liked it. I liked the cameo. I'll just make this quick. I don't want to be all about it, but the only thing that did kind of upset me, not upset, but it kind of bothered me, was, okay, I'm a Star Wars fan. And when somebody, I don't know if it was Wanda or what, not Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen or what's that guy's name? Paul Bettany. He was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a big cameo. You know how they were keep pumping up the cameo, and they were saying, oh, it's this almost impactful, like this Luke Skywalker cameo. I don't know if they said it word for word for like that, but that just bothered me. Like, okay, they really have no idea how that Luke Skywalker, how big that cameo was. This is
I
nowhere
cried.
near.
I
There's nowhere
cried.
near what this is. They shouldn't even said that.
Yeah.
They should have said, "Yeah, there's a big cameo," and called it a
Yeah.
day. That's it. You know, there nothing could compare to
So
that
so
cameo.
so they hyped it up before the episode.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
one
did
of
they?
yeah.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, me
like
neither.
I think it was Paul Bettany said that there's like an actor that he's always wanted to work with in like the
Oh.
last episode, but he was like trolling fans talking about himself.
Yeah,
Oh
but I
my
like
like
that
two
God.
one.
visions.
I like that one though. I like
Yeah.
that one. That was a good
It's funny.
because people were talking about I forgot what somebody was talking about. Oh, it possibly could be like Al Pacino. I'm like, really? You see
Oh, yeah.
Al Pacino? But
Wanda.
I don't know.
Wanda, baby.
Yeah. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
You know, that's all you would hear.
Who Wanda?
Right. But yeah, after that little thing, it caught my eye a little bit. You know, I'm not saying like the sitcom got me totally out of it, but you know, there's little things that got me back into it. And then what else? Well, I'm gonna get some questions in here. I kind of messed up, Rich. Added that part. Wait a second, where was I? Let me see, where the hell was I? Oh, okay. So we're gonna talk about a couple episodes down, and I think it was episode 7. Man, guys, this was my favorite episode, episode 7, and I'll tell you why. Learned a little bit about Wanda as a kid, you know, with her parents. That was so cool. The way they kind of explain why they're showing sitcoms, why she's into sitcoms, why this is kind of she envisions sitcoms going through WandaVision, and they also build character with her and Vision. They showed you a scene that was not in Age of Ultron at all, or Civil War even. They showed you them coming together, kind of building that relationship. Because all you saw was them making food with paprika. That was it.
Yeah.
That's what brought them together. Really, I loved how they showed this. And what did you guys think about that? The backstory, you know, with Agatha over there. Vic, I'll start with you. I'm sorry, Vic. Go ahead.
So this is episode 7, right?
I think it's 7
episode
or 8.
actually.
Actually,
Yeah, I think
you know
that
what,
was
went ahead.
8.
Is
It's
it 8?
8. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let me see real quick. So this is the one with the intro with Agatha getting staked, right?
Mhm.
And it reveals kind of like her power to kind of take people's power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so it does show her to be like this very powerful witch, right? And it also, I think it's the first time that they show you the purple like color like designation to her power, right? We got Scarlet, we know that's red, right? The blue is what is it? Monica now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can like classify her as a witch, but there's like this like color scheme that's going on that's almost like the colors of the Infinity Stones. So
Right.
there's some thing with the colors, right? This episode was just crazy all around. Like this whole, I mean, I was in tears like most of it.
Mm-hmm.
It hits really close to home because I've like kind of gone through something like that myself with therapy and stuff. So it was really, really just a good episode. It, like I said, it shows you all these things in hindsight of why she has built this hex around this town, kind of propping up the life, the best time in her life that she had in this war-torn country, with the greatest thing that she loved, which is, you know, movie time with her parents. So that's what she built for herself in Westview. So it's really beautiful, and it's the best episode of the series for sure.
Yeah,
like
I
it's
think so, too.
undeniable. It's just
Yeah.
undeniable.
Man.
I feel like it's going to be one of those classic episodes, you know, of like any of this Marvel DC universe thing or whatever. I mean, sorry, scratch that. This Marvel Sony universe, whatever you want to call it.
Jared, what was your thoughts on this episode?
Just that one line alone from Vision, what is grief but like love, persevering, or whatever he
Yeah.
said. Like that's just like
Mhm.
amazing writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love them going through all like the different like memories and stuff. I actually went back and watched the scene in Ultron when Pietro was like describing the bomb hitting and stuff, and they basically perfectly like filmed that. Like it's exactly what he said happened. Like he like grabbed his sister, got like under the couch, and the Stark missile came down and all that. It was like super cool. I like this episode a lot.
There's also an incredibly important scene in this episode where they show a kind of like a facility where Scarlet Witch or Wanda is being kind of imprisoned, right? And they once again through the lens of like security camera, it like cuts and you don't get to see what exactly happened. And we see it from her eyes, and it's this kind of like separation of reality from the Tesseract to maybe the Vision stone. Mm-hmm. And behind that, I believe, is Scarlet Witch. Like there's like this really amazing imagery of that, like foreshadowing of Scarlet Witch kind of coming to her. And I mean, like I said, just super important episode, a lot of color dichotomy, like on everything. Just brilliant.
I wonder if when she like saw like herself in that little like if that was like the same shot used in like the finale. They just kind of like put it like the same shot like in both episodes. Mm-hmm. But like it was like the exact same pose when she's like floating in the air like in the finale and everything.
I did notice that too. Yeah.
Rich, was this episode one of your highlights of the series, or did you have another highlight?
I'm with Vic on this one. I feel like it was the best episode, of the season. Because like I said in the beginning, I didn't want to watch the show because I didn't know anything about Wanda and Vision. I didn't know enough for me to be into their own their own show. But this episode really showed you everything they went through, how much, why they loved each other so much, and it just really let you into their relationship, and of course all of Wanda's past problems that she had. So that was the reason I felt like they jam-packed this episode full of reasons to root for Vision and for Wanda, but more Wanda because they got into her past a lot more. But yeah, I feel like they gave you a lot to root for in that episode.
It's also the very first time that they actually mention runes and like witchcraft stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is super important by the end of the show. So we'll keep a note on that one.
So we were talking about some of the highlights already. Rich, I'm going to go to you. What were, if there was any, what was not you weren't so high on, let's say, of the whole series of any part?
It would honestly be, like I said, the first two episodes, the parts that didn't capture me, like the eerie parts. It was honestly the first two episodes with the sitcom. That's if you're asking me, what I didn't like, that was those two episodes were the ones.
Jared, I know you love this series, but if there's any maybe low point or not so high on, if any, was there any for you in this series?
There definitely is. When like I liked Agatha like for like the whole time, but when she became the witch, I feel like every word she says was just like exposition, and she's I don't know, like it just I felt like I was like watching like a corny like network show sort of. But I mean, she was nothing wrong with the actress. It's just like how they used her, I think.
She kind of went into evil monologues too much.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Like it was even when she like first shows up like in like the basement, I was like, I'm kind of sucked out of it. It's kind of cheesy.
Yeah. I'm not
Vic,
gonna
did
lie.
you- Oh, go ahead.
Also, her background, like I've known her but from nothing but comedies.
Step
So
Brothers.
it's hard to,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Step Brothers especially,
Ooh.
like the stuff
She
she
pissed
said in Step Brothers.
in a urinal, so
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
that's like all I see.
The stuff, yeah, the stuff that she's done in the past, you know, in the past movies that she's done, it just replays my mind, and it's hard to take her seriously. It's just hard. She's not
But
she's
she's
not like
like-
Jim Carrey, where Jim Carrey, he can give
Yeah.
you serious, like hardcore serious, and make you feel and make you cry and everything. But her, I still got the comedy side of her in my
Like
head.
she her in the 50s and like the 60s, I thought she was amazing there. Like she just
Oh,
like she
yeah,
just like
yeah.
nailed
Yeah.
just like every line. Just the Agatha stuff just got a little corny for me, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
I also like the little hint that she's going to be a witch by them making her wear the witch outfit in that one episode where Vision is
Yeah.
kind of doing this independent investigation to the outskirts of
Mhm.
town, and she's just out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Freaking, she even does the witch laugh like in the
Yeah.
car. It's perfect.
Yeah.
But when
I don't know
it-
if like I don't know if y'all watch like breakdown videos or anything, but like from like episode 1, she was saying things like charmed and just they're like little nuggets throughout.
little
Ah,
witch
see? I didn't even
lexicon.
Yeah.
there.
Just like charmed stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that she it's funny you mentioned that because she does remind me of something like, you know, the old like, you know, Hocus Pocus, you know, like kind of witch.
Oh,
or, like,
especially her
Sabrina the
getup.
Teenage Witch. Yeah, like
Yeah.
everything about her character is just like this like cartoony old style witch. So I
Yeah.
mean it kind of makes sense that she kind of harkens back into that by the end of it all. But
Yeah.
there is genuine fear and like cosmic horror in what she does. Like I forget the movie his name. I think it's called like Into the Darkness or something. But the end of that movie is this guy that gets put into a like little television against his will, and when he's through this like black and white television, he's just talking like, "Hi, we're here and everything's fine." You know, like it's just like it everything harkens back into like this like cosmic horror, and it's great that she's going to be part of Doctor Strange and whatever it's called, like the something of madness, right?
Mhm.
That's like every single Lovecraftian, you know, like title, like in the Mountains of Madness or in the Mouth of Madness, you know, like
Yeah.
it's gonna be this grand scale kind of creepy thing that
Yeah.
involves,
Mhm.
like all this
I'm looking
witchcraft.
forward to that.
Yeah, so
Mm.
we're getting this lighthearted Lovecraftian like cosmic horror stuff, and then hopefully that eases us into like a really cool Doctor Strange movie that's like actual really crazy horror. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll throw some punches at us, like a lot harder punches with that.
So, Jared, how would you rate Agatha Harkness as a MCU villain in this series? And were you also how did you feel not having a main engineer like we thought there would be in the beginning of the show? You know, engineer is meaning as a main protagonist, like actually making the universe. But we find out that it was actually just Wanda herself doing the whole thing.
I mean, I thought she was like a fine like TV villain, but I mean, she doesn't stack up to like the movies or anything to me. And what was the second question?
About having the engineer, finding out there isn't an engineer, as far as it was Wanda the whole time who made up the whole
Yeah.
universe and everything.
I mean, that's kind of what I like figured. I mean, it's like a pretty vague how like she like kind of does this. I guess she just like thinks something and it just like manifests. I'm not really sure like how her like powers work, but I thought it was because she was so like emotional, like just like emotional, like love being like the strongest emotion that just kind of like did everything for her, sort of.
Yeah.
How about you, Rich? Would you rate the villain, Agatha Harkness? How would you rate her as an MCU villain?
You know, like I said, well, obviously, like Jared said, she doesn't stack up against, you know, the other villains in the MCU, but it was hard to take her seriously. Like I was saying before, it's very
Yeah.
hard. And then when you see this,
I mean,
yeah, like the song is good and everything, but it makes you even take it like it makes you like not take
it's a weird vibe.
like I didn't take it seriously even more after watching that. It's just a funny little video of how to introduce the villain. Like whenever she was like, her eyes started glowing, and in the very beginning of the little clip I just played, then I was like, okay, and then they played that, and it was like, oh, this is like, goofy. It just didn't get me.
Yeah,
The
but
whole thing.
but she killed Sparky.
Oh yeah.
Come
Very-
on, man, that's some evil ass shit.
Another witch reference to like Wizard of Oz, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
little dog,
that's
too.
a good one. Yeah.
Wow.
they even did the feet under the house.
I was
thing.
just about to say that in the new
Yeah, I do
episode.
remember
Yeah.
that.
I'm telling you, she like screams like this like cartoony evil villain
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's hard to
so
take her. For me, it was hard to take her seriously.
It's cute, and like I said, I think it's like this little softcore horror thing, and they're gonna maybe hopefully like prop us up to like the big horror stuff with Doctor Strange. That's
Yeah.
what my biggest wish about this is.
I think it's weird because like Wanda is like the most tragic, saddest character in like the MCU, and then they have like the super goofy villain.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Vic, we're gonna talk about towards the end of the last episode. So then it's the last episode, season finale. Here we go. So we got, I guess I call him eggshell Vision. I'll call him
I just
eggshell
called him
Vision.
Vision too.
Vision 2. And then we got the other Vision,
Yeah.
Wandavision, Wanda's Vision, whatever. When those two met, did you like that part when those two went at it? And then what happened?
Man, it was that last episode was kind of like kind of just bittersweet, honestly, because when they meet, right, they just start fighting and stuff, and then Wanda's Vision like kind of just logic bombs him. He's like, wait a minute, you ever thought about this? And he's like, does not compute, and he just starts like having an existential breakdown or whatever. So I mean, it was cool. And for TV, like actually the CGI didn't look that bad, like for their fight and stuff. So it was pretty cool. It wasn't offensive at all or lacking. I just and I wanted to see what this new Vision was gonna do or how he's gonna play a role like when he met Wanda, but they never really got to that. So it was honestly, it was a little lackluster by the end of it because we don't really see what happens to White Vision or Vision 2 or whatever.
I was kind of surprised that wasn't like a post-credit scene or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just like one more scene with them.
But there is this one scene that got me thinking.
I am Vision.
So what does that mean to you guys? Do you feel like he just showed him everything that happened in the past, so now or White Vision or eggshell White Vision, you want to call him, where does he go from that? Does he know everything that the past of Wanda's actual Vision, like all the stuff that they went through? So like where do they go from that with him? Is he going to be the new Vision? Is that just how it's going to be?
I would like assume like over time he would just get back to being himself. That would just be like the obvious thing to me. But I'm a little confused. Like he just flies off, and that's like the last that we see.
Yeah, that's the last.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
we're gonna see him again. So
yeah,
it's a tough call because having known that he died, and having known the heartbreak that happened to Wanda, would he want to put her through that like again, or? I mean, she became so unstable after that.
Yeah.
And their finale, Wanda's Vision and Wanda, like that was also bittersweet, and it had a conclusion to it. Like if this new eggshell Vision comes and is like, I'm back, can we be happy again? Like I don't know if that works immediately like that. Like
there's no way that they could rip him from like her for like a third or fourth time. Like
this is one of those like better to have loved than to never to have loved at all, like kind of deals. Like is she ever gonna be happy?
I don't know.
I think I think you said it, Jared. Like, she's the most tragic character ever. Her entire life has been sorrow, imprisonment, war-torn countries, literally prison, and now almost like a self-imprisonment with what they showed us at the very, very end. I don't know if we want to talk about that later, but yeah, her in that cabin is just dreadful, like just incredibly dreadful.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured the whole show was about, was her dealing with her grief.
Yeah.
And then finally at the very end, you know, she didn't have a chance to say goodbye to Vision. You know, he was taken away from her so quickly, just like everybody else that she loved in her life. So she was just, at the end, she finally got some closure at the end of the series. So that was kind of nice to see. You know, it's kind of depressing to talk about that. So let's just do a little bit of good stuff. Let's get to that one clip that I love. We actually see Wanda turn into Scarlet Witch.
You don't know what you've done.
Fellas, I gotta admit, I like the costume. I like the way that she has on.
Yeah.
It looks good.
The crown looks cool.
I mean, she's just so powerful now. She has to be one of the most powerful beings right now. I mean, honestly, her powers have grown, or maybe they were always there, and she's actually trying to find out how to fully use them.
Like I mean, like, because like they like, I made it sound like when she was like a little kid, she did something to that missile. Is that like just like up in the air? Or do we like know anything about that yet, or no?
I don't know anything about that yet.
I know what you're talking about, Jared, because I saw the video you were talking about, Jared, where she held out her hand and it looked like she might have done something to the missile, but
like either the missile just didn't go off, or like she did it, or maybe we're just supposed to like debate it. So
right,
it's hard to tell.
Okay.
All right, well, guys, then we get, you know, she beats Agatha and everything. She says goodbye to Vision, and she had the balls to walk into the crowd and then fly out, knowing that the people are going to look at her like she's crazy.
No apology to them.
No apology whatsoever.
Yeah.
She had the balls to put the hood on and just fly out right in the middle of everybody. I would just blown out in the back, to be totally honest with you. And then we get credit scene right here. We're going to show.
He'd like to meet with you.
Where?
Fellas, I'm not a big, you know, comic book reading guy or a big Marvel guy. Like, you know, there's certain movies I really didn't watch. Could you guys kind of, maybe one of you guys could explain to me what that scene has, any significance, maybe? Because I was lost.
Oh, do you want to do it, Jared?
I mean, I know that Skrulls are in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I've only seen that movie like once or twice. I'm not a big fan of it, but I know that that she's like a Skrull, but that's all I really know.
So where I guess she's pointing up because Shield has their like invisible base station like in the air, maybe still.
Okay.
I mean, it's been a couple years, but I guess they're still floating around, or maybe I don't know. I think by the end of one of the movies, I can't remember which one, they do show Nick Fury just randomly far off in space somewhere, and that Skrull lady that brings Monica to the theater, she does say he, right?
Yeah.
So I can only imagine it is Nick Fury that she's talking about.
Yeah.
So
Rich, any thoughts on this mid-credit scene at all?
No, I'm like Jared. Like I've only seen the movie once, and it didn't get me enough for me to look up to like the background of it or anything of what are they called, Skrulls?
Yeah,
Skrulls.
They can like copy people.
Yeah.
Or something. I haven't watched New Rockstar's video yet, so I don't really know like much about it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the mid-credit scene, and then we finally get the post-credit scene. What I actually missed. I thought that mid-credit scene, I was like, oh, okay, that's it. So I shut it off, and then about a half hour later, I saw something on YouTube saying, "Oh, post-credit scene, this isn't." And I said, "Oh my god!" So I went back and went to go watch it. Here it is, the post-credit scene. There it is, fellas. So obviously her story is not done whatsoever.
Yeah.
Vic, I'll go straight to you. So what did you get from this post-credit scene?
Just more dreadfulness. Like, to be honest, like I said, this whole show is just like this cosmic horror imprisonment of greater beings, you know, these omnipotent beings that live among us. And I feel just sad, like ultimate sadness for Wanda, because it looks like Scarlet Witch is a different entity, something that was created out of the communion of this like purple evil energy from Agatha and her own like power, which is like this weird manifestation from like the Vision Stone that she saw, or whatever happened with the Tesseract in that prison scene with the security footage, where they were like, what happened there? We can't understand what happened there. There's this entire like power joining that kind of manifested Scarlet Witch. Like, I honestly think Scarlet Witch is a different entity from Wanda. And so Wanda is in isolation for herself and for her safety, because obviously, you know, she's a bad person now. And maybe this explains why when she left Westview, she didn't apologize, because heroes would feel bad about that. Like, heroes do the right thing. Even Vision, when he was coming out of the hex and he was breaking apart, I believe he was screaming, you know, we have to help the people, you know, like, this is part of Wanda. This is part of her, you know, that vision is part of her. We have to help the people. But you don't even give an apology when you're leaving to isolation. Like, I mean, it's just dreadful, you know, like isolationism, another form of prison. We see like her clothes kind of be like this, like almost mental patient, you know, in an insane asylum kind of like robe. I guess you could see it as just like her pajamas or whatever, but there's nothing like serene about that existence, being in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. And then you see Scarlet Witch in a different room, right? And she's studying this book of chaos, reading the pages backwards. Like, what are you doing? Okay, so, and then we hear the audio of the kids, right? And then in the truest cosmic horror fashion, Scarlet Witch almost looks at the screen and she swipes it. So there are layers, you know, that are just constantly being thrown at us, that are fourth wall breaking and creepy and full of like existential dread. And like I said, like that's what I think about. It's just another form of imprisonment, grief, and sorrow for Wanda herself. Like, can we give her a break? Like, can we just let her live a happy life? I don't know if we can, you know. But I know you said you don't read a lot of comics, but I know there's a famous one where Wanda does break like the universe or something like that, like with her powers. So like it's, you can understand why her being this broken character herself.
Jared, Jared, with this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but with this post-credit scene, what is this setting us up for?
I mean, I know that she has a lot to do with Doctor Strange too, and I think like that, like part of that movie could be Doctor Strange kind of maybe like fix the universe. Maybe she goes crazy and like does something else.
That's cool.
She could possibly be the villain in Doctor Strange too.
It could be. I mean, she like seems to kind of like walk a line of like good and bad and not having like regret really. When I saw her like that like first shot of that cabin, like the first thing I thought about was Thanos after he like snapped. He just like off like in a cabin somewhere. So it could be some symbolism maybe, but and then I think I heard somewhere that that's actually Doctor Strange music playing when she's like doing her little like witch thing.
There's not a good track record with cabins and people. Dexter was in a cabin. Thanos was in a cabin. I'm just saying.
You gotta stay away from the cabins. And then like the kids, the kids screaming. Is that like another dimension of those like those kids or something, or is buried like deep in her mind somewhere? I'm not really sure.
This to me, I know Jared, you say you weren't really big into X-Men, but this gave off a real Phoenix vibe. You remember whenever Jean Grey turned into Phoenix, Vic? You didn't know which way she was going.
Wait.
Yeah, you didn't know.
What's Jean Grey?
Yeah, which Jean Grey was it?
Wait, are we talking about the crap they sold us? Dark Side of the Phoenix with the Sansa Stark
Oh
thing
no,
with
no,
Jean
no,
Grey,
not that
or
one.
are you
I
talking
didn't even
about
watch that one.
X-Men 3, The Last Stand
X,
with
yeah,
Frasier. With
yeah,
Frasier.
X-Men.
Okay, you gotta say
Dark Phoenix,
Frasier
I'm
X-Men or post Frasier.
Frasier X-Men.
Okay, good.
You know, when Cyclops goes out into the middle of nowhere and he just finds her, kind of like, you know how she's like in the middle of nowhere in a cabin, and you just don't know which way, you know, Wanda's gonna go. Like, is she still good? Does she have any good in her? Or is she completely lost it? Like, you know, Vic was saying, she's gone through so much, and
Yeah.
you know, it's all just piling on, and now she's got all this power,
Yeah.
and now she's the true, you know, truly the Scarlet Witch. And even Agatha even says, you don't know what you've done. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't know, you know, what kind of power she possesses. Which way she's gonna go with it?
She's
So that's why,
potentially absorbed Agatha's all of her power, right?
yeah. Who knows?
This
Yeah.
purple energy, right?
Yeah.
She had contact with the Tesseract and the Vision Stone somehow.
Yeah.
That's yellow and blue. She has the red, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
I mean, the next one is, if she's going with Doctor Strange, that's green, right? The Time Stone.
Yeah.
It's scary to think about how powerful she could become with the fact that she can absorb energies. She can absorb energies.
Yeah, I mean, she almost beat Thanos alone.
Like,
Yeah.
like
Almost,
this guy,
yeah.
this jerkwad Hayward that was throughout that
I
entire
hate
show.
this guy so much.
Maybe he had the right idea. That's yet, you know, to be proven. I mean, but he
Yeah.
is a child killer. He shot bullets at kids, so he should be in prison.
which is the scene I was about to talk about right now. Unless you got anything else on that, Dave? Because I was gonna show another clip.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick that on this post-credit scene, you know, I was actually looking at it like there's two beings now. There's Scarlet Witch and Wanda. So I don't know if the Scarlet Witch part and the Wanda are actually gonna just be kind of separate, and there's gonna be two of them, you know, or one Wanda, one Scarlet Witch, and is that kind of like the evil gonna be bad? It's gonna be its own entity, and then that's who Wanda has to go against to order to fix things right. I don't know. That's what it was to me. It looked like there's actually physically gonna be two, but I have no idea.
Like,
you know,
when she's in the back of the cabin, is that like a physical being there, or is that like an astral plane? I couldn't really tell.
I could.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing too. And then I was thinking, well, there's possibly going to be another, not maybe a WandaVision season 2, but maybe another Wanda series.
Yeah.
You know, possibly is that. So
yeah.
That's all my thoughts on that.
Kevin Feige said that it's like not like a done deal. Like, it's not like they just don't really know yet, I think.
Yeah.
Or they're not telling people yet.
Or Jared, going back to you talking about like the cabin and Dave, I think this like qualifies what you're saying. Like, maybe she just has so much power now that she can astral project herself. Like, there could be that it's just too much power now, and she can manifest something that looks like her like that.
Yeah.
Like I like kind of thought about in Endgame when the bald lady from Doctor Strange, she kind of punches Hulk and his like body leaves Hulk. It's like two different things.
Yeah.
Could be something like that maybe.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. Now I was just getting to the scene that Vic was talking about with the men shooting bullets at kids. Hold on. All right, Vic, how did you feel about that scene?
It was like unbelievable, an unbelievable act of evil. Like, but this guy Hayward, you know, when when Wanda goes to visit Vision, he makes sure that she sees Vision being disassembled. It's right at the point where like they're like taking a Dremel to his head, his severed head, like, and he's almost looking at her and being like, you know, kind of like seeing what's going on through her mind as he says like these evil things. This guy is just horrible.
Yeah.
And he's at the top of like this very powerful you know, industry, you know, whatever sort it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought it was just like an unbelievable act of just like he was like the minor villain,
Yeah.
and then it was Agatha, and then above that, I would say it's Scarlet Witch, like the big bad, right? So
Yeah, when she
something
saw
with
those
the
bullets, it was like shocking when
Yeah.
he's actually gonna try to kill him.
her like eyes like change color yellow
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
right.
and it's something that's like kind of cool that was pointed out like in a video when Photon or Rambo, whatever you call her, she like walks through the
hex.
wall thing.
Mhm.
She kind of came together with her different selves, kind of like Captain Marvel did.
Yeah.
Like her past selves kind of came together.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like she was like a little girl in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know that or not. Like she was like a little girl in that movie.
Yeah.
You may not remember, but yeah. So there's some like parallels there too.
And it was cool that like they did show that like I said, Scarlet Witch's power comes from that kind of Tesseract vision thing, right? And so once again, we see that colored dichotomy. So Monica like turned kind of like this like yellow like vision stone kind of like color.
Mhm.
So I do love that they're keeping with this like trend of these
Yeah.
very specific colors that link back to the most powerful stones in the universe. So that's really cool.
Well, that pretty much wraps up WandaVision as a whole series. So let's just get to nitty gritty and say, what was your final grade? You know, using the alphabet A, B, C, D. I'll go with you, Rich. What is your final grade on this whole series as a whole, overall?
The last episode kind of took me out, but not a lot. But episode 8 still, stays in my head. How great it was. All the stuff they showed. So I'd honestly give it a B.
Jared.
I'd probably give it a minus. Like I basically liked everything except Agatha was kind of corny, but I thought the acting was like Elizabeth Olsen and Bettany were amazing.
Yeah.
The way they like nailed every different era of like TV was like creative genius to me. I mean, and the way it all came together, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Vic.
I think it's gonna be a B also, just because like it's very hard to watch. Like a lot of it is very sad. So especially in hindsight, if you go back and you watch those first episodes, you see how sad it is, how she's trying to keep it together with that fake smile, and the laugh tracks. It's a sad rewatch, like a rerun.
Yeah, totally. Mine was a C minus until the last 2 episodes, and then it went up to a C plus. So it did. The last 2 episodes helped me out a lot. So, anyways, people, leave your comments down below. What did you think of WandaVision? What were the highlights? What did you guys enjoy? What were the lows, if you had any lows on it? And what do you think the last credits, post-credit scene means? Do you think there's going to be another season of WandaVision? Do you think she's just going to be the main antagonist in Doctor Strange 2? And what did you overall think of it? Leave your comments below what you thought about it. Okay, fellas, that's all we have about WandaVision. So now we're going to talk about what's coming on next. And that's Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Streaming March 19th.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. This series is probably the one I'm most anticipated out of all the Marvel that they announced. I'm totally in on this series. That was just a short little trailer, couple-second trailer. I love the chemistry between these two. Even though they didn't have that much time together with the Civil War and the Avengers and a little bit in the Winter Soldier, they're on opposite ends. But I am so hyped to watch this series. I love that. I love Captain America, and seeing this come in, and I don't know if you guys probably not as excited, or you are excited. Vic, I'm gonna start right with you. Seeing this preview, know it's coming. What is your expectations? What is your thoughts about this series coming up?
Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be like really like lukewarm. I'm not sure like if the show itself is gonna deliver. It's kind of being propped up as like this big action thing, if I'm reading it correctly. It might be cool. Is it gonna be like Captain America 2, like action cool? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But man, I just don't know. Like I think I just know too little about both of these characters. I feel like their story concluded in for Falcon, like kind of like it concluded with the closing of Captain America being like super old.
Right.
I think for Winter Soldier, it concluded in one of them, Infinity War, or some of them. At some point, he just like wasn't really like acting; he was just mopey, like, and kind of just kind of renting a place in Wakanda. So I'm not really sure like what the show's going to be about. I need to know more, I think.
Oh, okay. Sound like me when I first heard about the WandaVision thing.
Yeah.
Jared, I'm going to you. What's your preview? What's your thoughts about this? What are you anticipating? If you got any expectations on this series?
I mean, I think I'm kind of more drawn to Wanda and like a Loki because the weirdness factor. Because I kind of like weird. Just like Thor Ragnarok is probably like my favorite movie because it's just so weird. But if they bring some of like the Winter Soldier type of stuff into it, then I mean it's only 6 episodes, so it could be like a pretty action packed thing and like get the point across. But I'm not also like not really sure like what they're doing, what they're fighting. I don't really know like a lot about it, so I'm looking forward to it though.
Rich,
I told you about this earlier, Dave. I'm like Vic. You know, it could be great and it could be lukewarm or it could be bad because I'm going into it the same way I went into WandaVision, and I ended up liking WandaVision. But it's two characters I don't know much about. I know more about Falcon and Winter Soldier than I do about Wanda and Vision. But I'm gonna go in the same exact way. Watch the first episode, see if I get into it. It does give off the vibe of being super action packed, and I didn't know it was only 6 episodes until Jared just said right now. So it could be
probably gonna be longer than Wanda too.
Yeah, it could be. The action might deliver, but it's gonna be like another WandaVision for me. I'm just gonna go in and see if I even enjoy the first episode.
So they kind of basically they announced that the main antagonist in this series is going to be what is it? Oh my God, what's the guy's name?
Is it Zemo?
Zemo, that's his name.
Oh
yeah.
wow, okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
Zemo is going to be back in here. I actually liked Zemo as a villain, as an MCU villain. I know a lot of people didn't care for Zemo as a villain, especially in Civil War. Oh man, I loved it. The reason why I loved it as him as a villain is I kind of like he wasn't like you call it, and it's probably not the word for Marvel, but he's not a metahuman. You don't have to be a metahuman to mess with these guys. You know what I'm saying? I like that he outsmarted them, had a game plan, and it all coincided for the ending for them to turn on each other, and it worked. So that's what I liked about it. More of that basically like that CIA type deal, that Tom Clancy type deal, that vibe. So I liked him as a villain. I know a lot of people didn't because he wasn't a powerful villain. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have any powers and wasn't, as far as strength wise, he didn't have anything either.
He's the only villain in all the Marvel universe that succeeded in his plan. Like Thanos didn't even succeed. He's the only guy that actually had a mission and did it. He broke them apart. Like I feel like he's the strongest villain, and that's why like Civil War is my favorite movie out of all of them, even with how strong Infinity War is. But it gets undercut by Endgame when they kind of downgrade Thanos into like just this warmonger guy. So Civil War is just like a complete movie, like with a
you know what awesome... I'm totally with you on that comment what you said about Civil War. That is my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that guy getting drowned. Hell Hydra, he's getting drowned.
Yeah, everything about that movie I absolutely loved. I was just on the edge of my seat, stuffing my fat ass face with some popcorn, just soaking it in, man. I loved everything about that. But we're not talking about Civil War. We're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Jared, what do you think about Zemo being the main antagonist in this series?
That's the guy that showed the surveillance footage to Iron Man, right?
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm more of like a Winter Soldier movie guy, so I probably only saw Civil War like once or twice, but I didn't know that he was like the villain like in the show, so I'll probably go back and watch it now though. I think he was in Inglourious Bastards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Rich, how about you, man? What do you think about Zemo being the antagonist?
Well,
in
I didn't
this
even
series?
know that he was the villain in this one, but I did like him in Civil War. I like him as an actor because I also liked him in the movie Rush that he did with Chris Hemsworth, Thor. And so I like him as an actor, so that gets me a little bit even more interested in the show.
And just to piggyback on that movie doesn't get much praise as it should. I really liked Rush, that movie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's just my 2 cents on that. So we're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Guys, I've been noticing on a lot of these trailers that they've been showing, we're seeing that shield all over the place. Now, is this, the only thoughts that come to my mind is this shield in play because they're grooming one of these fellas to be the next Captain America, or is it just saying, hey, don't forget about Cap, he's coming back?
Okay.
Any thoughts on that?
So I don't remember who it was. I was listening to some philosophical kind of speaker guy, and they asked him, do you want a black Captain America? And him being a black man himself, he goes, Captain America cannot be black, because the whole reason for Captain America to be white is because it has to be a white man that sees the government from its inception, like the US government in its inception. And he gets teleported to the future, right? Because of the ice coma thing, right? So he's in the future now, and the white man has to look back at the government and see, and it has to see and deal with the tyranny of everything it has caused. So it's like this self-reflection of what it is to be the symbol of America, So it's really strange for that to like be like a mantle that needs to be like kind of donned, Captain America. Yeah. It should be called something else, like when the mantle is transferred, because Steve Rogers gave his life for this country. Like, I'm gonna try not to get emotional. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I guess I'm thinking about him going back and risking his life and putting all those pieces back in place. At the end of Endgame, he sacrificed himself. For this entire planet, for the country. So it's like it's hard to be Captain America being anything else but a the epitome of a soldier that symbolizes America, like white America. So it has to always be like a white man, like looking back and kind of not fixing, but realizing the issue of, the United States as a whole as a broken kind of entity. Yeah. So like I said, if it's going to be like this like mantle transfer, like I'm not sure if that's going to work for me per se. I don't know. What do you think about? What do y'all think about that?
Jared?
Oh, I don't know who it's going to go to.
Yeah, Jared. It's kind of same question to you. We keep seeing this shield. What is it saying? Is it saying anything?
I mean, I don't really know much about Captain America. I know that Chris Evans was like a super good one, and I'm like willing to give the new guy a chance. I don't really know anything about him either. I'm like more of like I guess like Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok. That's kind of my wheelhouse when it comes to Marvel. So all these other guys, I just like see them like in the Avengers doing their like thing, but I don't really have any like a deep meaning behind the characters or anything really.
Yeah.
Rich?
I saw the shield as like, I didn't see it as deep into it, but I just saw it as like, hey, these guys are from Captain America. That's where if you like Captain America, you'll like these guys.
All right. Well, that's just a short little preview of Falcon and Winter Soldier. When it premieres, we will definitely have an episode on these. Well, fellas, that's it for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, please comment down below. What do you expect? Any expectations from this new series, Falcon and Winter Soldier? If you like that Zemo's a main antagonist, please leave your comments down below. And that's it for the Scoundrels. My name's Dave, Rich, Jarrett, Vic. Everybody, dream big, live bigger. Peace.